We're back. We back. We did it again with the King and the Sting jersey. Yeah. Oh, check it out, nigga. You know what I'm saying? We're coming with the new merch. Ehsan Ahmad, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man, we got some dates.
You got some dates?
Well, we got some dates.
We got some dates. Yeah. Holy moly.
Yeah.
What's your date?
Well, May 30th through June 1st, we will be in Cleveland with Brendan. Yeah.
At Hilarities.
Hilarities, yeah.
Hilarities Comedy Club in Cleveland.
Yes.
May, what was that again, buddy?
30th through June 1st.
That's 5 shows, guys. If you're a beaner in the area, bro,
come on by.
Come on by, bro. Please come on by. We would be so happy to talk and chat. You know, we love you.
Yeah.
What else you got, buddy? Anything else?
June 8th, I will be at Flappers with Brendan as well.
In Burbank.
Flappers Burbank, baby.
10 minutes from our house.
Hey, yeah. Quick ride from our place. If you're gonna hang out beforehand, play some video games or something.
Get your ass beat in Halo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's time to get you to work. Yeah. For me, guys, we'll be there. I won't be at Flappers with him because I will be in Orlando June 3rd with the great Pauly Shore. Come on, man. The Wheeze. You know what I mean? Come on out. I'll be with him in Orlando. That's June 3rd and 4th. And then June 5th, I will be with him in Tampa. June 6th, Sarasota. I don't know stuff. That's why I got him around. Sarasota, June 6th. That's a Thursday. And then Friday, the last day, will be June 7th in Naples with Pauly Shore. Any of those days, June 3rd through June 7th in Florida with Pauly Shore. Look it up. I'll be out with him. Come on out. And we love you guys.
Yeah.
Also, and then, of course, if you're a beaner in Nashville, we will be there August 1st through the 3rd. August 1st through the 3rd. The Beaner Boys will be there in Nashville with Brendan Schaub. And then also September 26th through 28th in Denver.
Comedy Works.
Do we have any Denver Beaners?
Mile High Beaners.
Any Mile High Beaners.
Show up.
Please show up. That is September 26th through 28th. Guys, we got dates. We're actually doing stuff now. Can you believe it? It
only took 72 episodes, but we're there.
We're fucking fine. Jesus Christ, finally. What up, dude?
We got to talk about Little Giants before we get to this week's movie.
Yeah, we got to do last week's movie.
Yeah.
Because he didn't see Little Giants growing up, and I saw it too many times. Ehsan, how'd you feel?
It's a very good kids movie.
Come on.
It's for kids.
It's right up the fucking money for a kid.
Yeah, so especially a young boy. That's a young boy movie.
Oh, dude.
Nerdy young boy movie. This is an interesting thought. Not an interesting thought, something I noticed. Because I looked up, I was curious just to see what the Rotten Tomatoes score was for this.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones I was like, I wonder what the critics say. This is at 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. And
really?
And audience was only 63%. And what's interesting, I guess, when people look at movies critically, and we've talked about this before, is that for some reason, they don't take into account what the movie is. Meaning that this was just a silly kids movie. So to grade it that harshly is pretty nuts.
That is nuts.
Because it's like, what? Because it was an entertaining movie. It was entertaining. It was fun.
It's not too long.
Had funny movies,
it's 80 minutes.
Yeah. So to grade it, I think, like, I'm not saying that this is on, like, as far as kids movies go. It's not, or Zootopia.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, all right.
I think if I were being honest, a more appropriate rating for this critically would probably be in the 60s. And then for people, it should be in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I feel like it was criminally low in both cases. And I think people look at movies like this like too harshly. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Do you think this is today's time watching that movie? Because I mean, obviously those views would have had to come from people watching it in the more at least the presence of the internet age.
Yeah.
Not the people who watched it my age who watched it when it was just a VHS tape.
If you watch it
when
for
it came out
first time as an adult and you're like, what is this movie about? I can see why. Because it's like story wise, it's not like, as far as kids movies go, there's better kids movies, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like but that's not the point of this movie. The point of this movie is to make a fun movie. It's funny.
It's funny, bro. Ed O'Neill. Funny. Yo, because at the end of the day,
Ed O'Neill.
Regardless of Ed O'Neill is, if you're like, oh, this movie's not funny, yo, did you see Ed O'Neill?
And Rick Moranis is very funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah. And also the scenes with the parents are very heartwarming.
Yeah, dude.
The end, and also the one where they're at the house and they're having like, this is the team, and he's like, this is incredible.
I loved it, and I remember those moments as a kid. I had those moments, so it's like as a kid, I guess, especially if you live that life, there's no way you're like, oh, you've been through all that.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you like? It seems like the people who reviewed it are sort of jilted. They're like, it needs to, like, it doesn't have the story structure, it doesn't have, but that's not the point of the movie. Point of the movie is
Clearly.
just supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Like it's one of those where it's like there's no other point. There's
Yeah.
like there's no other. They don't. The movie never tries. You know, some movies try to be something else. This movie never tries to be.
it's sort of like
anything.
I bring this franchise up all the time. Because it's sort of like Fast and the Furious. It's like, if you're looking at this critically, that's your fault. What are you doing?
That's your fault, dog.
What are you doing? Just relax. Relax and enjoy it for what it is.
Because if you let it be what it is, you might be like, yo, this is a really good movie.
It's a good
but
time.
you might be like, oh, this is a good. If you just let yourself go into a movie, sometimes you'll be like, yo, this is a good movie. You'll be surprised what's a good movie.
And we talked about this in the movie about how they made a badass female character without being without like talking about how bad.
How'd you feel about her, by the way?
She was great.
Spike? I mean, Icebox.
Yeah.
I love Spike too. Icebox.
Yeah, it was what's it called? It was a great arc. It was like it was exactly how I wanted a female character to be written.
And how so? How so?
Badass, but she's also a girl.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
Like, she's
Yeah.
a badass girl.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. Same thing with the Asian, because like the Asian kicker. It was a cool character. The movie wasn't called Crazy Asian Kickers. No, they just had it.
They didn't make him talk like dude.
Yeah, they just had
He was fucking Asian.
Yeah, just an Asian guy.
Who could had a foot on him.
And we don't have like, it feels like now when we have like movies with Asian people and like movies with women, it's like, this is what it's about. It's about a movie. It's about the identity is Asian, and it's like, if you're a person and you're Asian, or if you're a person and you're a woman and your identity is I'm a woman and your identity is I'm an Asian, you're probably a bad person.
Ooh, Ehsan, hold up.
No, yeah.
Hold up.
No. I will say you're absolutely a bad person because you've made your identity of yourself and what's on the outside. Your identity is not about who you are on the inside. Your identity is like, I'm a woman and I'm an Asian. You probably suck.
Yeah, you definitely suck.
You fucking suck.
You definitely suck. You have
suck.
and you have no personality.
Yeah,
you have nothing.
You have nothing to offer the world but what's on the outside. If that's what your identity really is.
And you're a fucking idiot, probably.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if I talk to you, there's no way you're not an idiot.
Yeah, like that's what I want from like as someone who like wants like to see Asians on TV. Just make an Asian character, but that's not like I'm Asian. Why? What is that for?
That is a good point. They don't bring up that he's Asian at all. It doesn't
It's
come
just
up once.
an Asian kid in 1994. Like, how did they get it right? They got it right in 1994.
How did they get it right?
In 94, they got it right. And we somehow fucking went backwards. And we're like, it's got to be crazy rich Asians. How about just make a movie called, like, Love Story, and it's about Asian people. And they never mention that they're Asian. They're just fucking Asian. How many times during the day are you like, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm black? Like, you know what I mean?
Not as many as you think. I know a lot of listeners probably like all the time, but like not a lot.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if your identity is what's on the outside, you're a bad person.
That's
and
true.
Deal with it. Deal with it. Fucking deal with it.
Anything I missed in the movie?
Yeah. So I was thinking all that.
Just to bring us back. I'm trying to. You know what I feel like? I feel like in that moment, I felt like what's the nigga on TNT with the white Ernie? I feel like, all right, hey Chuck, you go ahead. I'm gonna let Chuck go ahead, and then. But what happened in the third quarter, Chuck?
There was one joke. I thought the funniest joke in the movie you didn't mention was it was very subtle. The mayor is sitting down and talking to him, and is like, we got a problem. And Ed O'Neill goes, "Is it your tie?" And he goes, "Don't worry about the tie. There's a turd in the punch bowl."
I forgot Ed O'Neill says that.
Yeah.
Damn, he's quick, dude.
I liked Ed O'Neill a lot.
He's the star of the movie.
I also liked a villain that was he was a villain technically.
But he was
a good guy. He was a good uncle.
That's what made him.
Besides not choosing him, which was a shit. That was the shitty move.
Because he was the best player. Yeah. That's the only reason I'm mad. Every time you watch it, you're not mad at him because of the girl. It's like, oh, you didn't pick the best player.
You didn't pick the best player. You're trying to make a good team. What are you doing?
So it's like your logic, because he kept saying it was all about the team, and it's like, but your logic. That's why it made him a good villain. It was like, oh, okay, you're you're misguided.
But outside of that, he was a good uncle to his niece.
Right. When it came down, when it came down to it, he was a good uncle.
Yeah,
I do love Spike's dad.
Spike's dad is funny. The assistant coach is also very funny.
Butts.
Yeah, what a bad person.
Great name.
Fun fact: the young girl, the Ed O'Neill's youngest daughter, that's the girl from Spy Kids. The youngest daughter. The one who's like, she can beat up make boys cry, and she has the video camera. And that's the girl from Spy Kids.
Priscilla.
Yeah, that was her name, Priscilla. Yeah, Spy Kids girl. She's just been in shit.
Damn. Oh, let me ask you this: what did you think of my favorite scene when that nigga goes flying out that window, bro? Bro, he's about to hit his wife. How did it?
That was really funny. It's like, man, you're about to kill your wife, and then he hits his nuts. I was like, classic kids movie. Classic kids movie. He hit his nuts and fell.
Who sees that in like 60-something%?
Yeah. It was like, what are you doing?
What were you looking at?
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
What'd you think?
What
Go
kind
ahead,
of creepy ass old man is scouting the new kids in the neighborhood?
Come on, dude. Hilarious.
I was like, oh god, these are creepy dudes.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the final game, though?
I mean, it was.
If we could talk football.
Yeah, it was so funny. it's like what happened to the Cowboys at halftime? You know what it is? That's classic taking your foot off the gas when you think you have it won.
I know you're gonna start talking real sports.
Yeah, that's classic. And no, they were bigger, they were faster, they're better football players. There's no way they should have lost.
Organized. What?
They had a black quarterback, and they weren't like, this is a black quarterback. They just had a fucking black quarterback.
How crazy!
Bro,
I never noticed a black quarterback. He's just a black quarterback.
Little Giants, bro, you got that shit right. You got that shit right.
Man, I wish we looked up who the writers were on that.
You got it right.
Nailed it.
You got it right. You nailed it. You nailed it. And
was it Disney?
I don't know, but the fact that you got 36% is a farce.
Ehsan has never used that word on this podcast. 72 episodes.
And you critics should be ashamed of yourself because they got it right. At least casting-wise, they got it right. And like good, diverse characters, as you put the 2019 spin on it, they got it right. They really got it right. And I'm proud of you. Whoever wrote Little Giants, I'm proud of you guys.
Wow, that's Little Giants.
That's Little Giants. Hey, we're back, guys. We did it.
We're back. Fart noises are funny, and we are back.
Yes.
Ehsan,
yes.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
How are you in the last 10 minutes from the recap of Little Giants to now?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah.
For them, it was half a second. For us, it was a little while.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a minute.
You're such a goofball. He's a goof, guys. I want to get him off, but he makes me laugh. I'm going to get him off the podcast eventually, but he does.
I'll be on forever.
Clearly, he won't be on forever. We'll get him off.
I'll be
But
on
he
forever.
makes me smile in the meantime. Ehsan,
Yes.
while we still have you on the podcast, can you describe to me
What?
for the episode today, episode 72 or 3?
72, I believe.
Episode 72, can you tell me for the 72nd time,
Right.
actually 70th, because I've done it twice,
Right.
70th time, what happens, what you think happens in the feature film Van Helsing?
All right. Well, it's about a guy who kills, named Van Helsing,
Okay.
who his thing is to kill Dracula. And he's the only one who can do it. He's like a vampire hunter.
You know who it is?
No.
He doesn't know who it is.
No idea.
No idea.
It's some white guy.
It's a white man.
in the Keanu Reeves zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go Keanu. I like that face.
Maybe not Keanu,
Okay.
but like a Keanu-esque character.
I like that face on this.
Yeah.
At least I'm gonna go Keanu for your movie so far.
Yeah. And, he just has to kill Drac. Maybe he was a disgraced vampire himself or some shit.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
He's a disgraced vampire.
Ooh, disgraced vampire.
Okay, keep going, buddy. It's pretty cool.
And it's just his trials and tribulations trying to get to Dracula.
Do you know anything about this movie at all? Like,
No.
have you heard about this movie in any way?
I think I saw, and maybe this is not Van Helsing, but I saw a video on YouTube once of a carriage falling off a cliff and then exploding. But that might not be Van Helsing. But it seems like it could be.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Anyways, he probably at some point there's probably a girl that's on his journey with him, and he's like,
Still on the
"Oh,
carriage thing.
this girl is helping him out," but it turns out this girl is actually
She's not gonna double cross him.
double-crossed him.
God damn it!
Yeah.
God damn it! They always do that.
Yeah. But
Is she a vampire? Does that how she double crosses him?
Yeah, she's like, sure.
Fucking toothy bitch.
Yeah, yeah. And this is after Van Helsing fucks her too.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
After
so on
he-
some Dark Knight shit. On
Yeah,
some fucking
yeah.
Batman. You Batman-y
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah. She gets in there, and then she fucks him up, and then he has to kill her. And then, he eventually gets to Dracula.
And
He wins.
how?
He puts a stake through his heart.
Cool.
Right, and that's Van Helsing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
You're whoa. You're good at stuff. You're good at stuff. Not this, but you're good at. I've seen you do other things, and I like how when you do it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. I am
Terrible
good
at this,
I'm
but
good
at other stuff, I
I'm good
love
at,
it.
Yeah, I am good at some things. It's crazy. Yeah.
You want to hear Van Helsing?
Yeah, let's do it.
What if you said no and walked out?
I should do that once.
One day.
Yeah.
A lot of options in this.
Yeah, I
podcast.
actually kind of want to know what happens at Van Helsing, though. Maybe
Yeah.
one day you'll choose a movie.
You
I
like
don't give a fuck.
let me look. Do you like Dracula stuff? Yes, because you knew about Dracula. You knew that much at least. You knew that it was in the Dracula world. You knew that. So you like Dracula stuff?
I am indifferent.
Okay.
About vampires and zombies. Some people really love them. Some people really hate them. I'm like. Have
you seen good stuff with them and bad stuff with them?
Yes, that's what I mean. Like it's okay. I've seen both. There's some. So
you see some cool vampire zombie stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not like going into something like, oh, there's vampires, I gotta watch this.
Yes.
No, I won't watch it because of that. If I hear like it's a good movie, then I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it. But I'm not. I don't feel strongly about vampires.
About vampires.
No.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
But you knew this was a vampire movie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And Van Helsing is like a vampire slayer of some kind in mythology.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he's an actual vampire himself, but it would make sense.
You ready?
No.
Movie starts immediately with the town mob running, pitchforks burning. You know what I mean? Classic. You're black and white.
Right.
You know? Transylvania, 1887.
Ooh.
Okay. You hear a scream. It's alive. It's alive. All right. Okay. You see the people. They're trying to bust down the door. The townspeople like, let us in. Let us in. All right. And then you see when they finally bust down they finally bust down the door. He's like, it worked. He turns, and then you see. He's like, it's a success. Like the doctor, it's a success. And then you see behind him, Dracula. And he's very stoic, right? And he goes, I was beginning to lose faith, Victor.
Ooh, okay. Victor.
And he goes,
who plays these people?
You recognize it, my nigga. I don't know him though. But but the main characters, oh my God, you know all them.
Okay.
But you know them. But this nigga, when you see him, you be like, no, that ain't.
Okay.
Maybe. He talks in the Dracula voice, you know what I mean? And he's very scary. And he can do the thing where he can like the doctor's running around and like he's popping up everywhere. You know, he can just kind of pretty much just transport?
Yeah. Transport.
Yeah, you know, he just like he can just pop up.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a hard villain to beat.
Oh, dude, really hard. And the doctor says he's like, please, Dracula, let me just run away with my invention. I'll run away with it. And then Dracula's like, no, Victor. And he's like, but I thought you believed in me. I thought you believed in my work. And then he tells him, he's like, I did, but your work must serve my purpose now. You know? And he goes, what purpose? And then right then downstairs, the mob, they bust through another door. Now they're coming up, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he goes, and it cuts back to the doctor. He's like, I would never, ever let him be used for such evil. And he goes, he is the key. And then he's like, Igor, help me. And then, you know, the fucking, you know what an Igor is.
Yeah, I know Igor.
Okay, I think you know that character.
Yeah, well, Igor, that's a archetype character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's always like the same kind of guy. And he goes, you have been so kind to me, doctor. But Dracula pays. And then, you know, Dracula smiles. And then
kind of like that guy from Spy Kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is Tony Shalhoub. That's what I'm calling Igor now. Igor's Tony Shalhoub.
Baby.
Yeah.
That is true. And then so the Victor pulls out a knife and he goes, stay back. You can't kill me, Victor.
Yeah, but get some garlic, dude. Put some garlic around your fucking neck.
And then he stabs himself.
Yeah.
And then like slides all the way in to it, you know? I'm already dead. And then he opens his mouth, and you see like how big it can really, it looks cool, you know, and the teeth come.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the shadow, and you don't see it, but you see the shadow of what's happening.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like when the camera just looks on the shadow, and you see all like the carnage. So Dracula, he drops him, and then he turns, but when he turns, the creation is gone. All right? He goes, it's gone. And then he's like, you don't see him. And then out of nowhere, you see Dracula just get hit with something. Boom! Just knocked into the fire. But he gets with something huge, like a humongous thing, right? And then Igor yells, Dr. Frankenstein! And then you see big old Frankenstein monster.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I figured you might like some of this stuff.
Oh, shit.
Huge Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, I like this, combining the two.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you're really just getting started, dude. That's why I was like, wondering how much you knew about this world.
I know nothing about this world.
But you kind of knew about it. You were like, he hunts like Dracula. You knew that. But it was like, you don't know. You didn't name all the other stuff.
No,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, so the mob, they see the doctor, like the Frankenstein doctor, he picks up the doctor. Right? He picks up the doctor and he jumps down out the window and he heads, and the mob sees him heading towards the windmill. He's heading towards the windmill, right? So Dracula, he walks out of the fire and like completely like burning, but he's unharmed. And as his like clothes come back and his face comes back to normal,
Right.
And he's like dusting himself off, right? And then it cuts back to the shadow, and you see him turn into his real Dracula form, and it looks badass. But it's just through the shadow, and he's huge, and he flies off, right? And then Frankenstein makes it to the windmill, and he runs all the way upstairs, and he locks the door, and the mob's there behind. They're like, burn it down, burn it down. So they all throw their pitchforks on it, right?
Right.
You know, it's all burning out. It's windmill, so it's going up in flames. And he runs up to the top, and then you see the monster, but his face is half covered, right? It's like half, because you can't see him all the way, and he's got a big cloak on, you know, but he's huge. You can just see how huge he is. And then he looks down, and he goes, why?
That's fair.
Guys?
That's fair.
And the town stops and they look up and they all stop. They all stop yelling. And then he goes, why? And then he looks far away and you see Dracula coming. Like you see his wings, fucking like dragon in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And you see 3 other like little like other wings like coming behind him like little jets almost.
Oh, okay.
Like 3 other kind of like wood vampires. You know what I mean?
Harpies or some shit.
Yeah. And then the town. They turn and they see him and they go, they run. They all start running. Mm-hmm. And then Frankenstein looks and he goes, Father, no. And then the windmill collapses just under itself, right? Mm-hmm. And then the vampire, Dracula shows up and he turns back into himself. And then the other vampires are hot women. Bad, I mean bad bitches, bro. Nice. And they're all like, no. They're screaming, crying, no. And then Dracula just watches it burn. He makes no face. All right? And it comes in on him, and it fades to black. All right? 1 year later. Now it's in color.
Okay.
All right? Now the movie's in color, right? And you see a wanted poster for Van Helsing in Paris. All right? And then you see somebody walk by, and you rip it off the wall, and they keep moving. You know what I mean? And then you can see you can see Van Helsing. You see a hat, you see all the black, right?
Right.
You know, he kind of looks like Batman or some shit. You know what I mean? And then he comes upon this dead body, this beautiful woman. He looks at her, and then you just see his eyes, you know? And then he sees an empty building, right? And then he runs over, and then he runs upstairs, and it's an abandoned room, and it's quiet, and he walks around, you know? And then, poof, big head pops, like, from hanging it down. It's like upside-down head, a gigantic monster like the Hulk.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, so huge.
And he goes, evening. You'd be a big one, pretty hard to digest. And then he takes off the mask, and we see our lead, Hugh Jackman. Wolverine, baby.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, right? He's awesome in this, by the way. He's fucking awesome.
So he's Van Helsing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes, I miss you. He goes, I miss you.
Hugh Jackman's so fucking rich. Good God.
Dude, he's been in everything, bro.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
He goes, I missed you in London. Mm-hmm. He goes, no, you bloody did not. And he holds up his arm. You got me good. And it's a big hole through his gigantic Hulk arm.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
And he goes, Dr. Jekyll, I have to bring you in for your crimes.
Dope.
Come on. Bro, we're just getting started with like all the different people.
Sort of feels like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but like darker.
Way darker.
Yeah, probably better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. They were around the same exact time frame too. So the shot the exact same damn near.
Really?
Like I bet you the people who edited this shit were the same people. I bet money on it.
I remember League of Extraordinary Gentlemen not being that great.
Wasn't that great? I liked it, but I always loved this movie more.
Yeah.
I always loved this movie more.
Well, you know, the thing about Tom Sawyer is that he's not exactly.
What the fuck is going on with him?
Yeah, it's not exactly a mythical creature.
Sean Connery
Yeah,
teaching Tom Sawyer shit. What is going on in there? But some of the other stuff were cool. Like I like the Invisible Man and like the nigga with the painting nigga.
Captain Nemo, was he one of them?
Captain Nemo, I liked him because he had a cool ass ship. You know what I mean? Like there were cool. It was one of those things like, oh, there's cool characters in this, but like I kind of missed.
Yeah, but what was the
This movie I liked. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I gotta bring in Dr. Jekyll for your crimes, and then he looks.
Man. Sorry, did you? That reminded me because like Arthur is in the news now because like. You know Arthur, the cartoon show?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw Arthur is in the news because, like, Mr. Ratburn is all gay and shit now.
Yeah.
But I remember the library card episode. This just reminded me of that, where they're trying to tell you to get library cards to read and stuff. And there's a song, what's it called? The really nerdy guy. He's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Jekyll, Jekyll, Hyde, Jekyll, Hyde, 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 Jekyll. That's the song. I still remember that.
God, I like that you just had a fucking PTSD flashback.
Arthur.
You were just like on your kitchen floor watching it.
Yeah.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
I just went back.
Someone out there feels
connected.
me. Yeah, someone.
And I'm glad you told me. I'm glad you gave someone that moment.
Yeah. Okay, so he's talking to Jekyll and Hyde.
And
Or
Jacqueline,
Jekyll.
well, they're both same. It's kind
Same
of
guy.
it's like a Bruce Banner situation.
Yeah.
And then he looks like just like huge monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's smoking a cigar, which is kind of cool, and then he eats it, and then he takes Van Helsing's hat and he puts it on his head,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, I'd rather not kill you, as he's like taking his hat off and like walking around and pacing.
Right.
He's like, but it's your call, and then Dr. Jekyll, like, he just fucking hits him, right? And as he hits him, starts shooting. Van Helsing just in the air, starts shooting at him, right?
Yeah.
And then fucking Dr. He fucking runs across the room. And then he starts, like, monkey barring his way, like, right towards fucking Van Helsing. And he fucking pulls out these dope-ass, like, blade knives, but they spin. So they're like, like this. And he's like, and then he fucking dodges them, like, slices his stomach. And then fucking Dr. Jekyll's head runs into a bell, like this huge bell, boom, and he's like, the bell, and he grabs it, and he puts it over Van Helsing.
Okay.
Right? And he's like, like laughing, and then he hears, he's like, what? And then he opens it up, and he's gone, and he sees a little hole in the floor, and he's like, what the fuck? And then right then Van Helsing's on top, like hitting himself like this on the bell,
right.
and he fucking cuts one of his arms off. And then his arm like turns from the Hulk arm like back to
the regular
a regular arm, right?
Yeah.
And then he drops him, and then he starts fucking like he takes him and he throws Van Helsing out the roof, like throws him up out the roof, right? And then he jumps up and he grabs him and he holds him over the edge, and then he fucking throws him off. And Van Helsing's like this, and then he takes out like one of those Batman kind of propeller guns and fucking gets him right in the chest. He's like, and then he's like that. He's like, and then he like lands and he tries to like pull him down because now he's on the ground. He tries to pull him down and fucking he like almost goes and then he keeps his balance and he's like, my turn, and like fucking slings that nigga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the way up, right? And so when he slings him all up, he's going back, and as he's going back, he like trips over himself over the building.
Right.
And he like loses his balance for real, and then he goes off, and Van Helsing like lands up top. Now he's up top, and he's like, whoa, and he fucking cuts the string, and then so he goes falling, and then as he's falling, he like, it's dope. It's a dope shot. He like looks back, and he's like, and then he turns back into a human, and then the human's like, huh? Lands, just, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, crazy. And then he's looking, and he grabs his hat and he dusts it off. He puts it on, and then of course at the town, right? People run up, they look, they're like, oh, somebody murdered this man. They murdered him. They look up, Van Helsing, you're a murderer. And then he walks off, right?
Yeah.
Fade to black.
Oh, damn.
He's badass, bro.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So he goes to Vatican City, Rome. Okay, and he goes to.
That'd be so funny if he was just fighting a pedophile, just a regular pedophile.
You don't know, bro.
Yeah.
So he goes to confess.
Right.
The cardinal goes, you can tell he knows him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Father, I'd like to come in and confess my sins, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, Van Helsing, always too many to count with you or some shit like that. And he goes, he says, you're a good man, but your methods, they're so, they're not good. They're so bad. You shouldn't have to kill people, blah, blah, blah. And then they argue, and then he goes, well, if the order didn't want me, they should do something about it. And he goes, he tells him, well, you were sent here to do God's work, Van Helsing. And then the cardinal says how, we're the last defense against evil, and you know this. And then he hits a button, and like the divider comes, and then they go down like a secret tunnel, bro. And the cardinals are running like some wanted shit. You know what I mean? Like they're the secret. All the priests of the secret order. And they send him out.
Save the world from these
from
evil monsters.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I like that. I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
You're digging the priest? You're digging the priest running this?
Yeah, no, it makes sense also why they just shuffle the pedophiles around. Because it's like, we have way bigger things to worry about.
Like, yeah, exactly. You know what's funny? If this was going on, the priests had a secret society that we didn't know about that saved our world. Then of course they don't care about the pedophile ring.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, they're fucking kids. We're trying to keep vampires out of here.
Yeah, dude. I get it, Catholic Church. I get it.
Now it all makes sense.
It's all coming together.
So he's walking them down, and it's like this cool secret lab, and all the priests are like making they're pretty much lab technicians.
Right.
Like they're making all these dope weapons and all this cool shit. You know what I mean? But they're in their priest garb.
Right.
You know, and he tells them how. Like they're giving him all this shit about blah, 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 you don't have to kill. And he goes, well, I'm the one there at the end of the day, and I'm the one that has to kill these monsters. So stop giving me shit.
That's a good point.
Pretty much.
Good point, dude. The monsters, you can't, what are you, negotiating with them?
Yeah, that's what they want. They wish that's what they want him to do. They actually want him to negotiate.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
So they tell him that we have our biggest assignment for you yet. Dracula.
Ooh.
Right? And he shows him a family. He's like, this is this delirious family who vowed to kill Dracula, who vowed to kill him like from their great grandfather, like 4 centuries ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like and then now like all the way down the family, none of them succeeded, and there's only 2 of the family members left. And he's looking at the 2 family members, and there's this one guy, and then this beautiful woman, and the woman is Kate Beckinsale.
Nice, dude. Kate Beckinsale been fighting monsters.
Dude, she get all the fighting monster roles, nigga.
Yeah.
She got them all.
Yeah.
Crazy. She was making bank at this time period, too.
Yeah.
And this period in her life, nigga, she was cashing checks.
Yeah. And now she's just fucking young dudes.
Cashing.
Remember that life, bro.
Dude, actually, when you think about it like that,
Yeah.
badass life.
Yeah. Still fighting monsters in her head somewhere.
The monsters are settling down with a 40-year-old man.
Yeah, 40-year-old man, dude. She only dates 20-something-year-old comedians.
20-something? Dude,
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, 20-year-old comedians.
Yeah,
Like,
you said 20-something.
Yeah.
You're 20-something. You are way too old for her, my nigga.
Yeah, you're telling me she ain't still battling demons?
But keep killing it, girl.
Yeah.
Hey, Beaner's a big fan.
We ain't judging, but...
Oh,
you know.
that's on.
Yeah.
How did we give Kate Beckinsale that look? We love you, Kate.
Yeah. We're Beckinsale boys.
We're
over
Beckinsale
here.
boys. We're Beckinsale Beaners, dog.
Yeah.
So he says how... Is this our first movie with her?
Yes.
Is this our first movie with Kate? Is this our first movie with Hugh?
I also believe so as well.
Wow, that's dope. So, 2 big movie stars. So he says how for 4 centuries this family's been defending their lifeblood and defending this town, the town of Transylvania.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they gave their lives, blah blah blah. And if they vowed like to God that they would be kill Dracula. So until they do, their family's not allowed to enter the gates of heaven.
Ooh.
So the priests were telling them like, you got to do this for this family. They've been defending this, and we got to do it for them. There's only 2 of them left.
Right.
Right. And their brother and sister.
Okay.
So he says how the last thing they have of like information they have of Dracula and like where to find him is this little piece of paper. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a little corner sliver of paper, and they open it up. It's like it looks like the little bottom, just like some writing, right? Mm-hmm. And it says on it, it's like written in like a different language, of course. But
right.
They read it and it says, "In the name of God, open this door." And that's all it says on it.
Okay.
And it's like written, you tell it's been torn from something. And then they open it a little more, and then the bottom left corner is a dragon, like a dragon insignia. Insignia?
Insignia?
Insignia,
Yeah.
that's the word. And then he looks at it, and then Van Helsing looks down at his ring, and it's the same thing.
Oh.
Okay? And he's like, and then the priest looks at him, and he goes, "You might find the answers you seek in Transylvania, Van Helsing." Right? And right then you hear a nerdy voice go, "Faster, faster, faster, faster." And you see this nerdy priest running up, right? And he's giving Van Helsing a bunch of shit about ruining all his equipment and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he's that guy. You know that guy in the lab?
Yeah.
The guy who makes all the shit, and he gives the guy a hard time?
Yeah, but he still makes all the shit. He's
but
like,
he makes it, so the guy allows it because he makes all the shit.
Right,
but he gives him like a really hard time.
So this is almost like a mythological James Bond.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, my nigga. I
Okay.
couldn't think of the words. It's a mythological James Bond. That's
Okay.
exactly what's going on. Bro, the lady's name might as well have been
Sir, Miss sucks a lot of dick. or
Yeah, that
something.
lady.
Ivana sucks a lot of dick.
Ivana sucks a lot. So he's giving him all this shit, right? And then his name's Carl. He's
Right.
like, "Oh, Carl, yo, Carl." This is what he pretty much says. And
Van
then
Helsing, Dracula, Dr. Jekyll, and Carl.
Carl. I think it's pronounced like Kaur, like Carl, but it's Carl.
It's Carl. It's Carl. Yeah.
So he's giving him like garlic and holy water and a crucifix. And then he goes, "What about a gun? Give me a gun." He's like, "You don't know anything about vampires." And he goes, "Vampires aren't different from any other monsters. They're all the same." And he goes, "Not vampires." And then he shows him this like kind of water bomb he invented that like if you throw it down, like it'll blow up. You know what I mean? And then he shows him this dope ass crossbow machine gun. So it's like a cross military terrorist, but like machine gun style, like
Okay.
with one of those like
Yeah.
So it's fucking dope. And then he shows him, but like it's a handheld.
Right.
You can hold it like a machine gun handheld. Yeah, like that. So it's dope. And then he grabs. Then right then Van Helsing like, what's this? And he grabs this little thing that looks like Mickey Mouse ears.
Right.
Like this little Mickey Mouse head with Mickey Mouse ears. And then he's like, what the hell is this? And he's like, and he's like playing with it. He's like, don't. I've been working on that for 12 years. He's like, what is it? He's like, I don't know yet. And he's like, you've been working on something for 12 years and you don't know what it does? He said, I didn't say I didn't know what it did. I said, I don't know what it's for.
Right.
And he's like, okay. And then he grabs it and he sets it down. And then Carl's like cussing. He's like, God damn it, Van Helsing. He's like, you're not supposed to be cursing, man. You're a
That's
monk.
true.
And
He
goes,
works with
I'm
priests.
actually not a monk. I'm a fry. Monk, that's when you're in training.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he goes, so I can cuss as much as I want. Van Helsing, God damn it. Right? And then right
Who plays Carl?
Oh, the nigga, I forgot to tell you, the nigga, you seen 300?
Yes.
You remember the nigga with one eye at the end of the movie who ends up telling the whole story?
Oh yeah, the guy who they let live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him.
Okay.
He's Carl. So he was killing around this time too, because this is right around the time 300 came out.
Yeah. A
So-
few years before, probably.
Yeah, like probably like maybe 2 or 3 years before.
Well, yeah.
This
Van
is 04.
Helsing was 04. 300 was 06.
Yeah, so
I
man,
believe.
not
06,
a
07.
bad little run though.
Yeah.
You know? So you right then he goes, by the way, Carl, you're coming with me to Transylvania. And he goes, but Van Helsing, and he walks off, but I don't want to go. And it closes, right?
Right.
And so we see a dude right there, cuts to a dude tied up in the woods. He's tied up in the woods and he's looking around. It's quiet. And then he sees something in the trees and he's like, come on, I know Dracula sent you for a reason. Right? And then you hear, and then he sees its eyes, and then a gigantic werewolf jumps out.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's like everything
yeah.
you wanted. Gigantic werewolf. And then he does this cool ass backflip like he wasn't really tied up, like
Right.
up on top of the thing, right?
Right.
And then he's like, lower it. And then a rope lowers, and then he fucking starts climbing, and then like you can see, like, oh, it's a trap. Like they've set this werewolf up.
Right.
And then right then he gets pulled up, but as they're pulling him up, the rope gets stuck. He's like, hey, keep pulling, and the werewolf's and he's like, keep pulling, and they're like, it's stuck. And then Kate Beckinsale, she pulls out this huge sword. She's like, I have to save my brother. And then they're like, no, Anna, no. And she's like, he's gonna kill him. And then she runs out, right? And then right then they're like, and they cut the trap. And then the werewolf like sinks under this ground, gets caught up in a cage, and then like the cage comes up, right?
Right.
And now the brother like he's on top of the cage now because he didn't get pulled
All the way up. Right.
So he's on top of the cage now. So he tries to pull out his gun to shoot it because he's like, I got a silver bullet. Well, he doesn't say that, but he like tries to pull it, and it gets hit off. He's like, and then they're shooting it with other guns. He's like, use my gun, has a silver bullet, use my gun. He's telling them from the top, right? And then right then, the cage, like the monster's like rattling it too much, and it drops. And it drops, it kind of opens up a little bit. And he's able to, because it's a gigantic fucking werewolf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he fucking busts free, right? And then he's like, and they're all like, run! So they all start running. And the Anna girl, she starts running, he chases her. Okay?
Right.
He's going after her.
Right.
He's going after her. And then she fucking gets to a cliff. And then she's looking at him. And she's like, and then the monster jumps like that. And then right when it gets to her, her brother fucking pushes her, gets off too. And then it fucking grabs him, and they go over the cliff, right into the river. She looks down. And she's
Who plays the brother?
crying. You don't know.
Okay.
At least I don't know, but you might recognize it, but I didn't recognize it.
All right.
We see so it goes on her. She's like crying, and then like it fades out on that, right?
Right.
So we see Van Helsing and his fry. They're crossing the sea. Mm-hmm. All right, they're crossing the sea on a boat, and then they're traveling through the mountains, and then it shows like they're traveling like through the map, pretty much, like to get to Transylvania.
Right.
They finally get to this town, and you hear Carl's asking him, he's like, "So what do you remember?" He's like, "The last thing I remember is fighting with the Romans in Masada." Okay, fine, that's the last thing I remember. He's like, "Fighting with the Romans? That was 1783." And he goes, "How old?" And he goes, "You asked." Right? He like cuts him off. Right? Mm-hmm. And then the town is like closing in on them, like as they're walking through. Like, you know, and they all got their weapons up. And he's kind of looking at them. And you hear a voice go, "Welcome to Transylvania." And then they go, "You turn around," right? And they turn, and it's Anna. It's the Anna chick, right?
Right.
She's looking at him, and she's like standing on something, right? And she's like, "Let me see your faces." And then they have their hats still, and they lift them up, and they're like, "Why?" And like, "We don't trust strangers here."
Fair.
And then they look at her, And then she's like, disarm them. And then all the town starts coming up, and he goes, you can try. And then all the town goes, they all stop, right? And then she goes, you refuse our laws? He goes, the laws of men mean little to me. And then she's like, kill them. He goes, I'm here to help. And then she goes, I don't need it. And he goes, really? Pulls out the crossbow in slow-mo. Right behind her, bro. Fucking vampires like, and then, bro, you see 3 of them coming, and then the town's like, run! And then he's just trying to light them up, bro. And then the one that he hit, like, she rips him out like it was nothing, right? Yeah, and then he's like cool shots of well, hold on.
Ooh.
Oh, well, like, because it doesn't kill one. It doesn't kill. And then he goes, Carl goes, he's like, Carl, what happened? He goes, try aiming at their hearts. And then he's just shooting at them, right? And they're all just, the town's going crazy. They're fucking, these 3 gigantic, like, vampires are fucking carnage, bro. They're just running through the town.
Right.
And then they, like, like, there's just cool shots of them fighting. There's a dope shot of, like, one of them, like, trying to grab her, and, like, he pushes her out the way, and it grabs a cow and, like, throws the cow through the house, nigga. You know what I mean? It's, like, pretty dope shot.
These monsters ain't fucking around.
Oh, they're fucking trying to fucking do carnage.
Why do the townspeople still live here?
I don't know.
Yeah, so you know what this reminds me of? It's sort of like Gotham City.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
The fuck are you still doing here? Get out of here, bro.
Yeah,
Live in the countryside.
I'm gone.
Yeah, housing must be cheap.
Crazy cheap in Transylvania. Crazy cheap in Transylvania, bro.
Yeah, well, you don't even leave.
Like $5.
I guess in the olden days, people never really left. Leaving is like, because you don't know if you're ever coming back.
Yeah, traveling's hard.
Yeah.
Like, traveling is such a risk. You know what I mean? It's such a risk.
There's no Facebook.
Yeah, there's no Facebook. I was going to say roads, but Facebook's probably.
Yeah, so you can't keep in touch with your friends. So you got to be like, oh, I don't want to leave my friends.
Been there.
Yeah.
So it's cool shots of the vampires just dodging all his arrows, right?
Right.
And then right then the sun comes out, and then they're gone. Like that. They disappear. You can't see them. And the town comes out from all their hiding, and they're all slow, and it's quiet. And then you hear, and they hear something like in a well. And so they got Van Helsing and the girl grab a knife, and they go looking, and they point down the well, and you can't see anything.
It's the friar.
And they're like, huh. And then the fucking sun gets covered up by clouds again. And they come flying out, and they grab the Anna girl, right?
Right.
And they got her, and they taking her flying away, and then she fucking cuts one's like things, and it drops her, and then another one flies and grabs her, right? And they're trying to like fly off with her, right? And then he fucking puts like 2 of them in the vampire's wings, and then they drop her again.
Right.
You know? And so they're clearly trying to get her.
Right.
And so she runs into this other house, and the vampire like follows her, and then the vampire turns from this ugly, crazy vampire to this crazy, beautiful woman. And she's like, hello, Anna. And she's like, nice to see you, Amira. Like they know each other. All right? And then Van Helsing walks up on a house, and then he's looking, and then the fucking vampire flies out and fucking knocks him across, and his bow goes 2 different ways. You know what I mean? And then he turns back, and it's not a vampire, it's just a hot piece of ass.
Yeah.
You know? And she's talking shit
Yeah.
to him. You know?
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
they knock Anna, like the one vampire throws Anna out a window, and then Carl finally goes, Van Helsing, holy water! And he throws it to him, and then the other vampire snags it, like comes flying through, snags it, and then throws it down the well, right?
Right.
And she's like, kill him! You know? And then, so the other vampires, they go, like those 2 vampires now, like the one that's not fighting Van Helsing, they'll go corner Anna.
Right.
And they got her, and they're all beautiful women, and they're talking shit. They're like, ooh, the last of the Valyrians. Your blood will be so fresh, you know? And they're talking to her. And then Van Helsing, he's looking at his crossbow. And then right then the Fry goes, Van Helsing, the church! And he looks, and there's water dripping in slow-mo off the front of the church. He looks at his crossbow, he looks at it, and then he starts sprinting, right? And then it shows the 2 vampires, and they're arguing over who's going to have the first bite of Anna.
Right.
Their teeth are all out, you know? And then it cuts back to him, and the last second he grabs it, dips it in the water, and then right when he turns, it's like, it's about to bite him, and he, and just, and right when he lights it up, the other vampires that are about to bite Anna go, ah! And they start screaming, and then the fucking vampire gets like, it flies up, and like he pins her to like the roof of the building, he just keeps shooting, and then she's like, she starts screaming, and then she just melts, like just burns into ash. And then the other vampires scream, and then they fly away.
Yeah. Ooh,
Right?
Good save. Good save.
Van Helsing, bro.
Yeah.
So the town comes out, and they're like,
Eric Gagne over here.
I knew there's a lot of action in this,
Yeah.
bro. This is the most action-packed fucking It's a monster movie, but it's like with vampires, it's crazy how like fucking Fast and the Furious style action packed this whole movie. Bro, no, the fight scenes in this are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sounds nuts.
Crazy.
Right.
So they went all out with graphics, whatever this was. In 2004, the budget 2004, they went all out.
CGI, 2004 CGI.
Oh yeah, but they went. It was the top of the 2004 for sure.
Yeah, top of the line back then.
So
which I'm sure in 20 years will look awful.
Oh God, I can't imagine how it's gonna look in 20 years.
Yeah.
So Van Helsing sits and he's like, "Holy shit!" Right? He's got his crossbow.
You know what it'll look like? Probably.
What?
It'll look like, you know how old Star Wars looks now, where it's like, oh man, this, you can tell the age, but it's not bad.
Yeah, that's great.
It's probably be
that's
like
timeless.
That. It's probably like that.
Maybe.
Like the CGI of this time. Maybe this is not as timeless of a movie. This is not as timeless.
No.
As
I mean,
Star
I don't
Wars,
know. No. I'm talking about the CGI.
Right.
I don't know if the CGI in this will be. I'm curious. I am curious. Not to say it won't, but I am curious.
Yeah.
Because it's not bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
It was really good. Mm-hmm. So he's sitting there and he's just like resting, right? He's like, holy shit.
Right.
And then the villagers come out and they're all pissed. You killed his bride. You killed his bride. You ruined us. You killed his bride. And he looks at him. He's like, isn't that good? And then the one goes, no. Some guy goes, no, vampires only kill to survive. Now they will kill for revenge. And he's like, and then the Anna walks up and she goes, no, this is Van Helsing. And the town goes, oh, you know? And then she goes, your reputation precedes you. And he goes, next time you just stay close. You're no good to me if you're dead. And then she goes, well, you are impressive. He is the first to kill a vampire in 100 years. And the town's like, oh, right?
Yeah.
And then right then, you see Dracula, and he's in a coffin, and he wakes from this ice coffin, and he's like, ah! And he wakes screaming. He's like, why? Why can't they leave us alone? Right? And he goes, we only kill to feed. And then he starts walking up the wall, like side. It's pretty dope, bro. He's walking, like he's talking, but he just then hits the wall and just keeps
walking.
And then he's like nice upside down walking, you know? And he's like, he goes, I feel nothing. And he talks about like how he's hollow and how he's gonna live forever, right? And then Dracula says how he tells the girls, he's like, we must find out who our new visitor is. And then we see a werewolf howling in the background, right? And then he goes, and then we will try the experiment again. And then the brides go, no, Dracula, I can't bear the sorrow of failing again. And then he roars, Rah! And then they cower. They're like, no. And then you see Igor, right? And he's tormenting the werewolf. He's just like, shh, shh, shh. And he goes, Igor, why you torment that thing? And Igor goes, it's what I do, master.
Yeah, man, Igor's badass. Yeah, slimy piece of shit. I love it.
Igor, you know, Igor, you must treat others as you, he goes, you must do unto others before they do unto you. That's how Igor lived.
Oh, man, spoken like a true war criminal.
That is spoken like a dude who will fucking survive.
Yeah,
those are the kind of guys who live forever. And it's like,
and they're just awful, and life isn't fair. Welcome to reality.
So he tells all his minions to go to Castle Frankenstein and set up everything up for the next experiment. Mm-hmm. And then he goes back in his ice coffin with his brides.
Right.
All right. So Van Helsing is asking her where to find him. And she says, no one knows where he lives. You know, my father, and then she points at this painting as they're going through Dracula's old house, which is where she lives now.
Right.
And she's like, my father would stare at this painting for hours every day, trying to find where and it was the painting of all of the place, like the whole world.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, you stare every day for hours and hours and hours and hours, every day, and he never found where he lived. You know what I mean? She's like, we've been looking for centuries. And then they start arguing over where he might be, and then as she's doing this, she's like grabbing all these weapons. He's like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm preparing to go vampire hunting. And then she goes, we should wait till morning, blah, blah, blah. They're looking for you. She's like, I can't, blah, blah, blah. I need to do this now. And he's like, no, we'll do it together. And then she looks at him. She goes, you know, some say you're a murderer. Others say you're a holy man. Which one is it? He's like, I think it's a bit of both. And then she's like, well, I'm going vampire hunting anyway. And she walks off, and he goes, well, I want to say I'm sorry about your father. And she's like, oh, it's fine. He lived his life. He did what he had to do. She's like, and I'm sorry about your brother. He's like, my brother died also,
doing what we had
to do, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he goes, and then he grabs her, and he knocks her out with, like, spray gas.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she passes out, and he goes, sorry about that, too.
Okay.
What?
This would be so funny if the rest of the movie is just Van Helsing dealing with a Me Too. It becomes this courtroom drama.
That'd be dope. Philadelphia?
That'd be really funny. Also very ahead of its time.
Very ahead of its time. So she wakes in the bed at night. She's like, huh? And she's like, Van Helsing,
Right.
Right? And she storms around the house looking for, she's like, Van Helsing! And she can't find him. Van Helsing! And it's quiet, and then she hears something. And she goes looking in this other room, and it's like dark, and then she's like, something's not right. And she grabs the weapon. She goes creeping through the room. And she bends the corner, and she sees it's just a window open. She's like, whew. She closes the window, and then she looks down, and she sees wet paw prints. And she's like, and then the camera backs up, and then it backs into the werewolf's point of view. And you see like how he sees, and it's a dope shot because it's like glassy, but you know what I mean, like how a dog, and you see like
how a dog would see, like we know how dogs.
I imagine,
would see.
I guess I meant to say like what, it's like their version of how a dog. Would see.
There we go. I don't know why I stuck at that point.
You're like, I guess this is how a dog sees.
Yeah. Dogs don't see color.
Yeah, well, it wasn't seeing color, kind of. It was like
everything was green.
Well, I guess it's a werewolf, not a dog. So it was seeing everything in like this kaleidoscope shit, like how a fly sees.
I'm wrong.
You know how a fly sees?
Yeah.
Like how, they tell us how fly sees?
Yeah, like that. Okay. It's weird, but I get it.
Not like that exactly, but it's just like in that look, it would just look kind of kaleidoscopy, So I guess that's the word.
No, that's a good word. I was
Thank
like,
you.
damn, you didn't mess it up. You stuck the landing on
Kaleidoscopy.
Very proud of you.
So, she sees the paw prints, bro, and she looks around and she cocks her gun, and then right then, the werewolf like comes down and she shoots it, but she misses, right? Mm-hmm. And then the moon gets covered by clouds, and she keeps looking for it, and then her brother grabs her. She's like, "Oh, you're alive!" And then they hug each other.
Yeah.
He goes, "Wait, I only have a moment." He goes, "I know Dracula's secret. He has a." And then he starts turning back, right? And then you see his body gets crazy as shit, and he climbs up the wall really cool. And then right then you see the moon is like back out now. And then she turns, and he's like, "Run, Anna!" And then his body turns completely into a werewolf, like tearing off all his skin. It's pretty dope. Like all of his skin tears off, and it's just like fucking fur, and then his body gets all hulky. You know what I mean? And then she's just watching this, and she's crying.
Yeah, that sucks.
Van Helsing comes in, he just starts shooting at it, and it jumps out the window. All right? Mm-hmm. So Carl comes in, he's like, "Why does it smell like wet dog in here?"
Nice, Carl.
And they're like, "It's a werewolf." And then they go, "Silver bullets." And then he tosses them silver bullets, right? And they go running out, like going for the werewolf. So Van Helsing, he's going through the town at night, and he's walking. And this creepy town grave person walks up, who's you've seen through the whole movie. He's been there from even the mob part in the beginning.
Okay.
Right? And he goes, "Why are you out so late?" And the guy goes, "Well, I'm not scared of monsters. I'm more here to clean up after them." And he looks exactly like, the nigga from Beauty and the Beast? The creepy nigga?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like him personified. Okay. And I mean like him personified.
Okay. That's a good person to personify.
Yeah,
this guy is creepy as shit.
That look.
Yeah.
And he's the town. What's it called when you do the graves?
That
person in like an old western.
Yeah, Gravedigger?
The Gravedigger.
Yeah,
the town, that guy. And he's like, "I clean up after them."
Right.
And then right then Van Helsing turns around looking for him, and then he tries to kill Van Helsing. Van Helsing grabs the shovel, and the guy's like, "Ooh." And he's looking at him. He goes, "Sorry, it's just my nature." And he smiles, and Van Helsing looks at him, and he like lets it go, and then right then the werewolf fucking grabs that guy and kills him.
That's what you get for trying to kill a guy. Jesus, what are you doing? Feel no sympathy for you. Although I wish the creepy guy was around more.
So right then Van Helsing,
nice.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
And he's about to shoot the werewolf. He's got him dead in sight.
Right.
And then she goes, "No," and she hits him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "What?" And then he goes to shoot him again, and she stops him again. "Don't!" And then and she goes, "That's my brother." And he grabs her and he chokes her and he holds her up. He goes, "He isn't your brother anymore, Anna." And then she beats him down. And she goes, "Do you understand forgiveness?" And she goes, he said Dracula has a cure, and I'm going to save him. He's my brother." And then Van Helsing goes, "No." And she goes, "He's taken everything from me, please." And she gives her whole case. And he's like, "All right.
Right.
Look for your fucking brother. All right." And then right then the little minions cuts back to them, and they cut a machine on. And then all the electricity starts going through this building, right? "Igor." "Yes, Dracula. How long before we are ready?" "Soon. It's difficult without the good doctor, but I will try, my lord." And he's like, "Good." And Igor goes off, right? Mm-hmm. So Van and Anna, they're hunting, and they're like talking to each other, and they go all the way to Castle Frankenstein.
Right.
Okay.
And it's the only place with electricity, right? No one else. No. Does anyone else have electricity, or is it just Castle Frankenstein?
Just be Castle Frankenstein. Yeah. But they don't have electricity. They have all the wires going it's storming.
Oh, okay. So they're using the storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, but that's how they like. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
So,
So the Igor says he can do it without a doctor.
They go to Castle Frankenstein.
Right.
She says she's telling him how the man who lived here died a year ago, and he's like, "Oh, who interesting?" She's like, "He was a doctor, blah blah blah," and they say he was a grave robber, and he goes, "Oh, okay," and then and they're talking more, and then she says something about how she's never been to the sea, but she bets it's beautiful, and he tells her he's been all the time, he's like seen the sea a bunch.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, she'd love to see it one day." So inside, you hear the werewolf, just yelling, right? And then you see Dracula, and he's like, so hard to control them on their first full moon, right? And then he turns back human, the werewolf, right? And he gives him, and he's like, Dracula, my family's going to get you one day. It's the brother.
Right.
It's like, my family's going to get you one day. Blah, blah, blah. And then the Dracula goes, oh, you won't do anything. Just like how I murdered your father, I will murder you, right? And he goes, I may have failed to kill you, but you can count on my sister will not. And then right then he's like, oh, whatever. And he grabs him, and he like puts his like fingers like this, and he's like, oh, and he straps him in a chair.
Right.
Right? And so she goes up, and she's like, she sees where she needs to go. She's like, I'm gonna go save my brother, and he tells her like, there's no hope for him. There's no hope for him, right? And they go walking through the tunnels, and then they see as they're walking through these tunnels, they see these huge sacks. They're dangling everywhere, huge sacks, and they're like, what are these? And then she looks at them, and she goes, offspring. And she's like, oh, of course, their children would be born dead, right? And then she goes,
Dracula's getting it in.
Yeah, she goes, he's trying to bring them to life, and they walk through, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sacks, right?
Jesus.
And then they like, as they're talking, they're like, if he brings all these things to life, that's the end of humanity,
right?
Yeah. And so right then he goes, Igor, hit the switch. And then he hits the switch, and then all the electricity goes right into the werewolf, right? And all like from the werewolf into the werewolf, and then out of his body into all the sacks.
Oh,
okay.
Shit.
Van Helsing walks up, and he's noticing one. And he's like, now they're all moving because the electricity's running through them. And then he's opening one, and she's like, what do you want to see? He's like, I just want to see what we're up against. And he's opening it, and it's all this goo. And then as he's opening it behind her, one is being hatched as well. And like his little hand comes out. And then it finally pops out, and you see, and like these ugly little vampires pop out, right?
Small?
Then, oh, yeah, they were like tiny.
Okay.
And then he's like, more electricity, like more. And then like the more comes, and they all give birth, right?
Oh, shit.
And then Van and Anna, they run out of the sack room pretty much.
Right.
And then
Sack town.
The Dracula tells the brides, he's like, teach them, my loves. Teach them to feed. Teach them to feed. And then all the brides go, and they like turn back into Draculas, and they fly off. And then all the children are following them into the town.
Oh, shit. Right?
So Van is standing on the ground. He's killing them one by one, just shooting them out there. Pow,
right.
Pow, pow. Dracula
but
sees.
There's too many of them.
Well, he sees, and then he looks at him and goes, now that I have your attention. And then Dracula flies down, but you don't see him, right? You just see the shadow of how big he would be flying down.
Yeah.
Okay. So Anna, she goes upstairs for her brother.
Right.
All right. So it shows Carl, and he's reading. He's like in a library, and he's reading all these things about vampires. And then as he does, he turns around and he sees all the vampires flying by, like all the hundreds and hundreds of babies, and he's like, "That's not good." Right.
No, it's
and
not,
he goes
Carl.
running downstairs, and then.
Good observation, Carl.
Dracula is now down with Van Helsing, and he can't see him, and he goes, really cold, he goes, I like this line, he goes, I can tell the character of a man by the sound of his heartbeat. Usually when I approach.
That's a dope thing to say.
I can dance to the beat. It's so loud. And he stops, he goes like this, but he stops, and he goes, but strange, yours is so steady. He's just looking around, right? And you can't see him. Then you hear Igor yell, we're losing power, Lord. The human, he's insufficient. And then right then you see the people of the town come out, and then they see all the babies, and they go, ah, and then they all start getting picked off one by one.
Right.
And the brides are teaching them how to feed.
Oh, right? God, that's
feed
gross.
my darlings. Feed.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah. So Van Helsing, as the Dracula's walking, he sneaks up on him, stabs him in the heart with a stake.
Right.
And he like twists it, and garlic sprays out of it. And Van, he goes, ah, like he's burning from the inside. And then he stops, and he goes, hello, Gabriel. And he goes, and he just looks at him. He goes, how long has it been, Gabriel? 300-400 years.
What a twist! Yo, he knows his real name and shit. That's wild. That's wild.
I like
That's
that. You
wild.
I thought you
go to
because
school
you kind
together?
of guessed it. Remember, you
Yeah.
said you think he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Remember, you said that in your guess.
Yeah, I did think he was a vampire.
So he goes.
What if they just went to school together? They're just school friends.
He's looking at him. He goes, you don't remember, do you? And he's looking at him, and then he goes, exactly. What should I remember? And he backs up, and he goes, well, I guess look at you now. You're the great Van Helsing. And he starts naming all his credits about all the different monsters he's killed.
Yeah.
You know? And then he goes, but me and you, Gabriel, we have history.
Did he used to fuck?
He goes, you and I, Gabriel.
Sounds like they used to fuck.
Yeah, oh, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he goes, let me ask you something. Have you wondered, Gabriel, why you have horrible nightmares of ancient battles from a time ago? He goes, how do you know me? Right then, Anna gets to her brother, and she's trying to unstrap him, and he goes, listen, don't unstrap me. And she goes, no, I'm getting you out of here. And then right then, she's like, no, and he turns into a werewolf, and he fucking starts grabbing her and squeezing her fucking face.
Yeah.
And she's like, ah. And then right downstairs, he goes, would you like me to refreshen your memory, Gabriel? And then right then, he holds out a cross and puts it in front of him, and Dracula grabs it, and it melts, and he goes, ah, and it melts in front of him. And he goes, perhaps that is a conversation for another time.
Oh, what? Why? Do it now.
He goes, well, allow me to introduce myself to you now, Gabriel. I am Count Dracula. And he bows. And Carl sees a lady who needs help. And he goes, and then he runs out and he decides and he saves her. And then he grabs her and like saves her from a vampire. And then another like baby comes out to attack him. And then when it comes out and it's about to bite Carl, it explodes. And then all the brides are like, no. And then all the babies, one by one, start exploding. Like just blowing up. And they're like, no. And then they all fly off. And then Dracula, he feels as well. And he's like, no. And Van Helsing runs off, right?
Right, what happened?
So Anna runs, right? As her brother turns, like she runs away from him. And then it cuts to Van, and he comes up and he grabs her, right? And she's like, sorry about your brother. And she's like, I couldn't save him. And then he shoots a bolt like across the river.
Right.
And it goes through a tree. And then they go Batman shooting like across it, right?
Right.
Now, as they're shooting across it, the fucking werewolf sees, and he jumps on it, and he starts, and the rope breaks. And they go swinging all the way across on some Indiana Jones shit, like that, and they like land on the other side
Right.
as the werewolf like falls into the river.
Ooh.
Okay?
The werewolf keeps falling into the river.
Werewolves
That's his
stay
thing.
falling in the river,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that's what they do.
So the lady jumps on Carl and she kisses him. She's like, how can I repay you? Is there any way to repay you?
Yeah,
And
Van's
he goes-
slinging that dick, baby.
He goes, well.
Yeah.
And he whispers something in her ear.
Get it in. Get it
And she
in.
goes, oh,
You're not a 20-something comedian.
she says that. She goes, you're a monk. And he goes, actually, I'm just a fry. And she goes,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Van Helsing getting in it. It's Carl. My bad.
no, it's Carl getting in.
My bad. I just had the Van slinging that dick in my back
Oh,
pocket
you were
the whole
thinking about
time.
this by the tree. No, this
Yeah.
is Carl getting some
Yeah,
monk
yeah.
pussy.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, time to use it. And I fucked up.
Sorry.
Yeah, and this is why it's better to be in the moment than to have a joke prepared.
Wow, look at us all learning. He's right. It is way better to be in the moment than to have a
Sometimes.
joke prepared.
Sometimes. Well,
It's one thing I learned from Wedding Crashers is never say a joke when you're doing the speech, the best man speech or the best bridesmaid speech. Never say a joke. Just go from the heart. It'll be funny. If you go from the heart, it'll be funny and people will cry.
Right.
If you try to like write a joke
you'll say Van slinging this dick at the wrong time.
at the wedding,
Right.
which is what happened.
Well, so Carl's getting some pussy. Some goose.
Igor is apologizing to his master.
Right.
And he goes, I'm sorry, doctor, but I'm not as smart as Dr. Frankenstein. It appears the doctor put the key to life in his grave. And then Dracula, he's looking out the window and he looks at his brides and he goes, and the werewolf, and he goes, hunt them down. Kill them both. Okay?
Ooh, good. I like this. He wasn't like, it's time to give up.
So
Nice.
Van Helsing's telling him how he tried to kill Dracula, but he couldn't kill him. And then she's going off. I'm like, of course you didn't kill him.
Right.
Steak, garlic. You think we haven't tried this stuff? We've burned him. She lists all the millions of ways they tried to kill him. We've
Right.
cut his head off. We've done everything. Nothing kills him. You know what I mean? And then He goes, well, I wish you would have told me all that earlier. And then they go.
Well,
like,
you knocked her out.
It's true.
Idiot.
He did knock her out.
Yeah.
It's storming.
Yeah.
So they run into the ruins from the beginning of the movie. Remember the windmill fell?
Right.
So they're there. And it's raining on them, and they're talking, and he puts his hat on her, and they're kind of flirting. And then she tells him, she's like, "What do you want to drink?" And she pulls out like a little whiskey bottle, like an absinthe bottle, actually. And he goes, "Absinthe,
strong stuff."
Pretty strong. He says it's like pretty strong stuff. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh well." And then she goes to drink, and then right when they go to drink, the floor, the bottom of the floor of the windmill, boom, caves in. They go falling. So Carl's asleep, and then he wakes and he goes, "Vampires!" And he looks and he notices the girl asleep that he just fucked, and he's like, he's like all proud of himself, and he leans on the wall, and when he does, it opens up a secret door. Like whoa, you know?
Shit.
And then the wall turns, and it turns, and then it's a like a prayer, like a painting of two men fighting, and then a prayer around it. And he reads it, and he goes, "If a man is true of heart, at night he becomes a wolf, and he'll crave another's blood when the sun goes down." He's like, "What?" And then the painting comes to life, right? And the two things start fighting each other, and then they turn into something like that. And he goes, "Ah!" And then he falls backwards, right? And you can't see what happened.
Right.
All right. So it shows Van Helsing and Anna, they're getting up from the rubble that they fell through. And Van's like, "Are you okay?" And then she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But he goes, "Shh, we're not here. We're not alone down here." And she goes, and he goes, "What is it?" And he grabs a Bible, and he goes, "Whatever it is, it's human." He throws the Bible, and he looks at the ground. He goes, "It has a size 17 shoe. It's about 360
So it's
pounds.
Shaq.
360 pounds.
It's Shaq.
It has a bad gimp in his right leg.
And it has a great post move.
Has a terrible free throw percentage."
Yeah, this is Shaq. You should have just said Shaq earlier.
And then he goes, "And he has a copper tooth." And she goes, "How do you know that?" He goes, "Because he's standing right behind you. Move!" And then he throws her out the way, and then Frankenstein goes, he grabs him, and he throws Van Helsing against the wall, right?
Right.
And she goes, "Oh my God, the Frankenstein monster!" And he goes,
Ernie! Ernie.
"Listen here, Ernie, you know I ain't no goddamn monster.
Yeah.
You know I ain't no goddamn monster." Cross-eyed. And it's just Chuck. "Shaq, you know you is a monster, Shaq." Hell, Shaq, you know you a monster, Shaq. It's hard to do Kenny.
No way the Warriors can win.
Is that your Kenny? Can you do Kenny?
I can't do Kenny.
Kenny's the one. Kenny's hard to do.
Yeah.
How do you do Kenny?
All right, so Shaq throws him against the wall.
Shaq throws him against the wall.
Right.
And then she goes, "It's the Frankenstein monster." "Monster? I have done nothing wrong." Right?
That's more in tune with like the real Frankenstein in the books. The real Frankenstein in the books talks very talks very well and is like becomes.
No, this is more your old school classic.
This is a classic Frankenstein. Sorry, this is a classic Frankenstein.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the classic one.
Because the new Frankenstein portray him as a monster that can't talk, but in the book he talks and is
He talks. He has a heart. He has
Yeah. He's not a bad guy.
And he's a good guy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. And he goes, and then he goes, "I have done nothing wrong." And then right then, Van hits him like in the head, and knocks his head kind of loose, and he has to put it together.
Right.
And then the lady goes, "What do you want?" And he grabs her, and he goes, "To exist." And she's like, and then right then Van hits him with a bunch of knockout darts, and in the back, and he goes, "Ooh," and he drops to the ground, right? And then she grabs her gun and she goes, "We must kill it." And then he goes, and then the Frankenstein looks up, he goes, "If you value your lives, you will kill me. If Dracula finds me, I am the key to my father's machine. The key to life for his children." And then Van Helsing goes, "It's too late. He already awakened them last night." And then Frankenstein goes, "That was from one bride alone. One birthing. And they all died. Trust me. I am the only way. Only with me can he give them everlasting life."
Ooh, shit.
And he goes, "Well, if they're dead, there's no more.
Ooh, shit.
There are thousands more.
Oh, shit.
Thousands more."
Oh, shit.
Drops unconscious. They're looking at him. They look at each other. And then Anna grabs her gun and she goes, "We have to kill it." And he goes, she's like, "No." And she's like, "We must kill it." He goes, "Listen, my job, what I do, my living is vanquishing evil. This thing, evil may have created it. Evil may have left its mark on it.
Not
but
evil.
Evil does not control it. Therefore, I cannot kill it." And she goes, "Well, I can kill it." And he goes, "Not around me, you can't." And she goes, "Ah," right? It's dope that you know about the history, some
Yeah,
the monsters.
a little bit.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never read the books. I just know.
I just know the little history that I know.
Yeah.
Like the basic kind of history you get growing up. So right then they look up, they hear something. The werewolf was watching him, and then he goes off running. No, he saw us.
Fuck.
So Van Helsing looks at it. He goes,
Damn. It feels like it's time for the third act.
Yo, the pacing. How much of the pacing of this movie is an action movie?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, because you're like, it's exactly the third act now. You know exactly what act we're in.
Yeah. Sounds like we're 2/3 of the way through.
God, it's so funny how movie making is the exact same.
Yeah.
It's all it's a science.
You gotta
It's a
follow.
math.
It is. You gotta follow the
tropes.
Yeah. Art and science are very similar.
Dude, it's all numbers. Everything's numbers.
Yeah. You follow the basic formula and then you see what you get.
Yep. Even fucking like painting is numbers, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So he goes, well, if I can get him to Rome.
Well, no, I think you just have coloring books. I think that's how you have a paint by numbers book. I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
start.
1 is blue, 2 is green.
You connect the dots
Yeah.
and then it makes a cool princess.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're a child. But
Oreo. So he goes, if I get him to Rome, I can protect him. And Carl tells Van Helsing of the painting that he saw. So now they're back and like he's telling Carl, we got to get Frankenstein to Rome, blah, blah, blah. And Carl's telling him of the painting that he saw and he doesn't know what it means and all this stuff, right? And then he puts Carl in the back with the monster.
Right.
And then they got him like locked up, all chained up. And then the Anna girl looks at Van Helsing. She's like, ride fast, And then right then Frankenstein yells, let me go. And then Carl's like, I can't. He's like, let me go now. He's like, I think you'll stick out in the crowd, right? And then they go driving off. And Van Helsing, he's riding fast as shit through the mountains, through the snow. He's going everywhere, right? And then you see something flying above him.
Oh, like, shit.
Game of Thrones shit.
Shit.
And then he gets quiet while he's riding. It's real quiet. He's got all this, like, he's got the wagon and like 6 horses, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And he's riding, and then he ties the reins to something else, and he grabs his crossbow, and he's like just scanning. And then right then one grabs him from behind and flies him up, right? And then he fucking cuts it, and like it falls down. He lands on like one of the horses, right? And so you see the horses, like the camera pans out, and the horses are riding towards a bridge that crosses over, but the bridge is broken.
Oh shit!
All right, and so like he tries to get up, and then a vampire like kicks him back down, right? And then right then the horses jump over the bridge, and Van Helsing goes flying like and then he fucking they fucking land, and he lands on the last horse, right?
Fuck yeah!
And then the fucking cart doesn't make it, and the cart goes tumbling, and the vampires go for the cart, save the monster, and then they go flying for it, and then one can't get in, and she's like, save the monster, and then the girl opens the door, and then the cart's empty. She's like, what? And then she looks down, and it's just full of like stakes and bombs, and she's like, oh no! And then it lands, and then she tries to fly up, and then she just gets shot with 1,000,000 stakes, and then the fire takes her, and then she like turns to ash, and she falls down, and then you see Van Helsing, he's riding the horse, and he looks over now, and there's the other cart with the girl riding it. Like you hear the hero music, and then like they meet up, and like he jumps to her cart, right?
Nice. So I was right.
Yeah, you were right.
Yay!
So right then though, the werewolf jumps from nowhere, and it dodges them, but it knocks over like a lantern that was on the top of the cart, and it sets the top of the cart on fire.
Oh fuck!
All right, so now that's on fire. So Frankenstein and Carl are like, oh, so now it's cooking them. You know what I mean? And then as that happened, when that happened, it knocked Van Helsing like off.
Right.
So Van Helsing's trying to get up and he can't, and he's like, Carl, help me. And then Frankenstein goes, I can help him. And then Carl's like, it's like, set me free. I'll help him. And he's like, all right. And he sets him free, and then Frankenstein grabs him and he throws Van Helsing back up the front of the cart.
Right.
And then Carl looks at him and he's like thankful, and Frankenstein's like gives him like a. Like, you know what I mean?
You got it, dude.
Well, Frankenstein's, by the way, also
Frankenstein's the
awesome.
shit.
He's the shit. You're gonna say he's like, he steals the movie a little bit. He's kind of like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Okay, and it's funny that I don't recognize him in
ugly.
anything else.
It's hard. He's Frankenstein. I don't know. You might this actor. This actor could 100% be somebody. I've never looked into who it is.
Andy Serkis.
Nigga, this could be Michael Clark Duncan, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
it could be.
That's racist. What about? That's racist.
I think it's more of an awesome role he got. I don't know if that's. I think he gets to play like a monster character. I don't know if that's
just because he's black, he's a monster. That's racist.
I think that's cool though.
That's racist.
progressive director of today.
Yeah.
What do you think of Denzel as the Frankenstein monster? That's
Racist. Yeah.
Why do black men have to be monsters? What? It's like, how do you even talk to that director?
Yeah.
You're like,
And you know what it would be? It would be you would be black and the director would be white, and he would still call you racist.
I know.
Yeah. I remember once in college, I just said offhandedly about how I just said, "Hey, Japanese people are a little weird," because I grew up around a lot of them. Everyone's a little weird, and then these my two white friends wouldn't let it go all day. They kept calling me a racist, and I was like, "Well, you guys actually don't know then." And it was me and my other Asian friend, and she was like, "Yeah, Japanese people are weird." I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, the Japs are worst.
Well, everyone's weird. I didn't take it that far. But
Wait, what are you talking about? Are you talking about Japs?
Japanese people.
Or everybody else?
Japanese people. Yeah, you're isolated on an island for 1,000 years. You're not the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Things develop differently.
You fucked over Hawaii.
Anyways.
We don't forget.
All right, well, let's take our journey back from racism corner and
To all our Japanese listeners, I'm coming for you.
What if that's all our listeners and we just fucked ourselves?
Our numbers go to 0 tomorrow.
Yeah, all the way from 0.
Negative numbers.
Yeah.
Negative listens.
Yeah.
So the werewolf rips open the cart, right?
Right.
And now the fire is burning through everything. So they all jump off. They all jump off, right?
Right.
And as Van Helsing is jumping off, he turns in slow, like he jumps off in slow-mo, and as he's turning, the werewolf's coming right at him.
Right.
Like this, and he pulls out a gun, gets off like a couple shots, and the werewolf grabs him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Fucking cart explodes. So Anna, she like everybody dove off, right? So she gets up, she goes running around, she finds her brother, and her brother's human.
Right.
And he's like, he's barely breathing. She grabs him, and then he goes, Anna, forgive me. He dies. She cries, right?
Right.
She's like, I'll see you again, I promise. And then right then she walks up on Van Helsing, who's like limping towards her, and she goes, you killed him! You killed him! And she's hitting him, and he goes, now you know why they call me a murderer. And then she looks at him, she goes, you've been bitten. And then the cameras pulled back, and he got bit huge by the werewolf.
Oof.
And then she backs up slowly, and he's like, and then as she backs up, she gets clunk, knocked out by the other vampire bride. And then she gets carried off. And then he goes chasing her. He's like, Anna!
Shit.
She just flies off, right? So the next scene, they're walking into town. He's limping.
Oh, shit.
It's him, Carl, and Frankenstein.
Right.
And right then, the bride lands right in front of him. And then they're like, what do you want? And she's like, the master wants a trade. The monster for the princess. And he goes, Frankenstein looks at him, and he goes, yes. And then Frankenstein goes, and he goes like, but it has to be public. Lots of people. A place where your master can't show his other side. And then she laughs, and she goes, all right, tomorrow night, the masquerade ball. Everyone will be there. And then she flies off. So Carl, right then, he looks and he notices, like, oh, you got bit by a werewolf, right? And he starts freaking out, blah, blah, blah. He's like this and that. And then he looks at the Frankenstein monster, and the Frankenstein monster's looking at him, and then he shoots him with darts again.
Right.
And then he hides him in the church. All right? And they hide this big tombstone in front of the church. And then Carl is telling him, he's like, well, according to every legend, you have 2 nights until the next full moon. You have 2 nights, until you have midnight. Full moon, you turn into a werewolf. You have 2 nights until the next full moon, if my science is correct.
Right.
So we have 48 hours to find a solution. And then he's like, and that's definitely before Dracula can get a hold of you and control your mind, So.
A lot of stuff happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He
busy
goes,
day.
oh, yeah. He goes, are we sure the Frankenstein monster is safe here? And then Van Helsing goes, not unless Dracula gets help from the dead. I think he's safe. And then right then you see a dead body, like a zombie body, come out the ground.
Right.
All right? And they walk off. Okay? They don't see it. So all the people are at the ball. They're all fancy. Everybody has their masquerade
Stuff on. Right.
You see Dracula dancing with Anna. All right? She's in her eyes aren't even open, but she's dancing. She's in a trance. And then he takes her mask off and he kisses her. And then she comes to and she's like, and she's like, he goes, how does it feel, Anna, being a puppet on my string? And then she's just like dancing with him, and she's like, she can't stop herself, right? And then she goes, I hope you know I will not trade for you, Count. I won't trade my life for you. And then he goes, well, if I know Van Helsing, he isn't planning on trading either. And he laughs, right?
That's fair.
So you see Van and Carl, they get in, right? And they're all dressed up and they see her. And they look up and they see these trapeze artists above the dance floor doing all this cool trapeze shit.
Right.
So as they're dancing, she looks in the mirror and then she's like dancing with nobody, which because he has no reflection, which is a really cool shot.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just you see it, like it's like, oh, that's really cool because you see it's just her like this. You know what I mean? And then like right then he's telling her how he's looking for a new bride. He needs someone new, someone strong, someone beautiful. And then right then you see upstairs Van knocks one of the guys off the trapeze. Van Helsing knocks the guy off the trapeze artist, and now he's swinging like up the top, and like he swings and grabs another one. You know what I mean? He's like just swinging up top. And then right then Dracula goes to bite her, and he's like, "You should be my bride, Anna." And he goes to bite her, and right then Carl pushes a fire breather into her. Like a fire breather into her, and he breathes fire all over Dracula, and Dracula's like, ah, like that. You know what I mean? And then she backs up, and then right then Van swoops and he grabs her. And then they're swinging, and then Dracula looks up and he goes, Gabriel. Oh, Gabriel. He goes, welcome to my summer palace.
Oh, is Van Helsing an angel? Oh, that's crazy.
So he goes, welcome to my summer palace.
Right.
And then right then you hear Igor go, Master, Master, we have him, Master. And then you hear Frankenstein yell, no, as he's getting wheeled in by all these dead zombies. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then as he's really getting wheeled in, he goes, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. And Dracula's smiling as he gets rolled by him.
And he starts playing Gangster's Paradise. He starts singing that.
Yo, damn near.
Yeah. I've been spending most of my life
in the hill of Gangster's Paradise. Oh! We keep spending most of our lives living in Gangster's Paradise. Oh! Yo, that's really awesome. Frankenstein's version of Gangster's Paradise. We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
God damn it. So, Dracula looks up at Van Helsing and he goes, now that everything is as it should be, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Van Helsing. And then all the people look up and they go, and they're all vampires. Everyone in the masquerade ball. And they all go flying after him. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So right then, Carl is upstairs now. He runs by as they're running towards the window.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I know what it's for now. I know what it's for now. And he drops it, and they all go jumping out the window. And right as he drops it, he goes, and it fucking blows up, and it's a light bomb. And it incinerates all the vampires.
Fuck. Way to get it done, Carl.
Yeah. And they land in like a little lake.
Yeah.
Right? So right then, as they land, they see Frankenstein getting rowed out on this boat. Right by Igor. Right? And then Igor's like, say bye to your friends. And Frankenstein's like, no, Van Helsing. And then Van Helsing, he's swimming. And then a gate drops and like he can't get to him, right?
Right.
And he goes, I will find you. My friend, I will find you. I'll get you back and I will set you free. I swear to God. And he's like, Van Helsing. And he gets rowed away, right? And then right then Carl swims up and he goes, you can't do that, sir. He goes, why not? He's like, I've gotten orders from the Cardinals, from the league, the order.
Yeah.
Their orders are for you to kill Frankenstein. He goes, why? He's good. He won't hurt anyone. He goes, they don't care. They said you must kill him. And then he goes off and he goes, yeah, I must kill him? Huh? Well, did you tell him about me, Carl? What'd they say about me? And he grabs him and he chokes him. He goes, "Rah!" And he roars. And he's like, I didn't say anything, master. I didn't say anything. And then he drops him and he's like, and he has to like stop himself. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Carl. It's starting.
Rough. Pretty rough.
So they go to Frankenstein's castle. They run this castle. Everything's gone. They're like, oh, where is he? And she goes, he must have went back to his lair. And he goes, well, we have to find him. And she goes, we only have 2 hours. He goes, we haven't. And she goes, we only have 2 hours. We haven't found his house in 400 years. And then Carl looks up and he goes, well, you didn't have me. So Carl goes back. So they go back to the Dracula's old house, right, where they started, right?
Right.
And he's telling him all the research he did on Dracula since he's been here. And he starts telling him Dracula's whole history. How apparently, he had a father who was supposed to kill him, blah, blah, blah. And he was and he was banished. The father didn't kill him, which is her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Oh, damn.
Okay, he was supposed to kill him because he was evil.
Right.
And he didn't. You know what I mean? And since then, that's why his family got cursed because they couldn't get into heaven until someone killed him.
Yeah, okay.
And when they banished him, he read in a thing that they banished him to an icy fortress. Okay? And then he tells him how he said his great grandfather was an interesting man because he couldn't kill him himself, but he left clues all over this castle for you guys to kill him. And then he shows them the painting,
right?
And they're like, the girl's like, oh, she's never seen this before, right? And then he's telling them how he goes, now I don't know how to kill him or where it is, but I know we have all these clues, blah blah blah. And then Van starts thinking, he goes, the map. And then he goes up to the painting, and that map that she said her father would stare at all the time,
right,
for hours and hours. He goes, I don't think this is a map. I think it's a door. And I don't think your father was staring at it to try and find him. I think he was staring at it to try and open it. And they go, how do you get that? And he goes, look at it. And then and they go, like, where did you get that from? And then he looks at the map, and then he looks at the corner, and it's missing a piece, and he pulls out that little missing piece. And then he's like, and then he puts it on and he reads it, right? And he goes, in the name of God, open this door. And then the whole thing turns into ice.
Oh,
pretty dope shot.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Shit's about to turn up.
They go, it's a mirror. Why would Dracula need this? He has no reflection. He goes, maybe to Dracula, it's not a mirror. And then Van reaches through it, and then he pulls his hand back, and he's like, it's snowing on the other side. And then he grabs the lantern, and he fucking walks right through it, right? And then Kate Beckinsale, she grabs one, and she goes through it. And then, of course, Carl's like,
Yeah.
And then he goes through it, and then he's like, and he gets to the other side, and you see this crazy, dark, scary castle, ice fortress castle, right? And he goes, ah! And he turns, and, poof, and it's like you can't go the other way.
Oh, you're in it now, buddy.
So they start walking towards the castle, all right? And they come up to like the gigantic ice door, right? And then Van Helsing grabs both of them, and he fucking werewolf jumps them to the top, like the Hulk, like, you know what I mean? And then he gets to the top, and he has to like keep himself from turning all the way, right?
Right.
And
he has to hold it in.
Yeah, he's like, we better get moving. Yeah, he has to hold
like
in his
coming.
werewolf. It's like coming. It is like some really good sex, where you're like, I don't want to come just yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to not enjoy to enjoy, baby.
So they look around, and the inside are the baby sacks, but they're everywhere. I mean, thousands on thousands on sacks. There's way more than the other shot, which was already so many.
Right.
You know? And as they're looking at them, they come upon Igor, and Igor goes, how did you? Impossible! And then he goes to run, and then he throws like that cool slicer thing,
right,
and it fucking and it like kicks onto his shirt and pins him against the wall. It's such a dope, like he throws it like from far away, bro.
And he gets him.
Like just perfect, like Batman shit.
And then the shot follow the knife.
Yeah.
Zing,
and it holds like right on his shirt.
A little curve to the throw.
Oh, perfect curve. Crazy.
Right.
You know how badass stuff looks. It's crazy how it's like you don't even have to see it, but you know if it was cool, it would have to look like this.
It have to curve. It couldn't be a straight line. Otherwise, it'd be like, what are you doing?
You're right. So he right then they run up to Igor, and he goes, please don't kill me. And then they hear a roar, like a even louder roar, and then Igor goes, my master has awakened. And then right then they look up, and Frankenstein's being brought up on this gigantic frozen block of ice.
Right.
You just see his head. And then he sees Van Helsing, and he looks at him, he goes, there is a cure. As he's getting brought up, he goes, for the werewolf. Dracula has it. Don't worry about me. Save yourself. You know?
Dope.
And then they go, let's find it, right?
Mm-hmm. And then the movie ends.
So they go, let's find it. And then Van Helsing goes, wait, let's think for a second. She goes, I don't care about that. We need to find it. He goes, wait, why? Why does he need one? And they go, what? Why does Dracula need a cure for werewolves? Why would he need that? And then they
good question. I didn't even think of that.
And then right then Van Helsing looks up, and he goes, and then like him and him and Carl look up, and they go, because the only thing that can kill him is a werewolf. That's why he controls them. That's why he has to control them before the first full moon, because if he doesn't, he can lose control, and he has to kill, use this just in case, like, you know what I mean? Like it's all like they start piecing it all together, like why he uses werewolves and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And then they're like, oh my God. And so they come up with a plan for Van Helsing to bite him. They're like, yo, you have to bite him, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, you have to do it before the stroke of midnight. And if you don't, we'll have to use this, like hopefully you do it before, like on the stroke of midnight, so we can use the cure. And they go, and if it doesn't, we'll have to kill you. He goes, he's like, fine.
Dope.
So him and the girl, they look at each other, they kiss, they make out. And then he looks at her.
Slinging that dick, baby.
He looks at her, he goes, don't be late. She said, I won't. Mm-hmm. They go.
Okay. Right? And the final battle commences.
So Dracula yells at Frankenstein. that God is not the only one who can create life. Okay? And he goes, and you will give life to my children. And then they bring him up to the top where the lightning storm is happening again, right?
Right.
And Igor he's walking them to the cure, and then they see it, and it's in this glass case, right? And then Anna goes up to it, and then right then Igor backs up, and he pushes Carl inside, and he closes the gate. And he's like, ha, you think you get Igor get you, and Igor runs off.
Right.
Right? And then they're looking at the case with this big red vial and the syringe inside.
Right.
And they're looking at it, and they're just staring. And then she goes, go ahead, grab it. And he's like, you go ahead. You go grab it. She's like, no, you grab it. He's like, I think you should grab it. And then she's like, why aren't you grabbing it? He goes, if there's anything I've learned in my years, it's to never stick one's hand into any viscous material.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is life advice we all live by. Like, bro, don't just be sticking your hand into any kind of liquidy shit.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah. And so right then you hear one of the bride roars, right? Mm-hmm. And like she's inside and it scares him. So Anna just pushes the thing over and it falls. And it's like an acid material. And it squirts all on the bride. She's like, ah! She kind of burns. And then he's like, I knew it! Viscous material! I knew it! Right? And then she's like, grab it! And then she uses some of it from the lid and flings it on the gate and it like melts the gate, right? And then they go running and he's got the serum in his hand.
Right.
But the bride starts fighting Anna. And he goes, Anna! And she goes, don't worry. Go take it to Van Helsing. And he takes off running.
Right.
So she's fighting the motherfucking vampire. So lightning is hitting the bridge like crazy as Carl's running. And then Igor comes up and he's trying to kill him with this like electric poker. And then Carl's like dodging it, right? And his lightning's also hitting this crazy bridge. It's crazy.
Crazy shot.
Crazy shot.
Right.
So Van finally gets to Frankenstein.
Right.
Right? And he's up on top. And then Frankenstein's like, what are you doing? I said to save yourself. Go find the cure. He's like, don't worry. My friends are finding the cure. And he's unstrapping him. And then Frankenstein goes, oh, friends.
We've been living most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Oh!
He goes, I'm going to get you loose, but this is going to hurt. I'm accustomed to the pain. And then right when he goes to get him out the chair, lightning hits, and it fucking sends this first shock through all the babies.
Yeah.
Right? So they all kind of start hatching. And then Dracula yells, give me life. One more bolt, and my young will finally live. And then he looks up and he sees Van Helsing ruining everything, right? And he's like, Van Helsing! And you finally see him turn into Dracula. And it's everything you want. It's everything that the two out, you're like,
nice.
Oh, he looks
So it's worth it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because sometimes it's not.
No, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
He turns and it's like Hulk, but if the Hulk was Dracula.
Okay. Stephen
What?
King has a great quote about like how sometimes it's better not show your monster.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes like you show your monster finally and he has like 8 eyes and 13 arms, but then the reader's like, oh, I imagined 100 eyes and 57 arms.
This?
Yeah.
They don't show him. That's why they show the shadow. So you already had a perception of what he looked like.
Okay.
But yeah, when he changes from him, the character, the actor to the thing,
He looks fucking nuts.
he looks nuts.
Okay.
And he's fucking
jacked.
huge, bro.
Yeah, steroids.
The craziest Dracula I've
HGH.
seen. It's a badass, Fast and the Furious Dracula.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So he changes and he flies straight up, right?
Fast and the Furious 8. Transmissionsylvannia. They have to take out Dracula. Fast and Furious 9, sorry. Transmissionsylvannia. I'm so proud of myself for that one, bro. Yo, any Fast and the Furious writers listening to this? This is hey, take it. It's yours. For free. You don't even have to give me credit. Just do it.
You're stupid. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
So he flies up, right?
Right.
And then he's almost got Frankenstein loose. He's like, you're almost out, my friend.
Yeah.
And then he has one last foot, like one foot strapped in, and right then, poof, another bolt of lightning hits him. Gah! And then all the babies are born, and then they all go off flying.
Right.
Thousands. Just they all go flying into the world.
Oh,
right?
shit, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh,
And
shit,
the
oh, shit, oh, shit.
electricity shooting off from Frankenstein, it shoots him off the building. Like,
Right.
it's too much. It shoots him off the building, right? And then he's flying off right now, like, ah! And as he's flying down, he's just trying to grab like anything.
Right.
And he grabs the chain and he goes swinging. And when he goes swinging, he goes knocking wraps around the bridge. And so now he's like still swinging and it's knocking everything off the bridge. And Carl sees it and he ducks and Igor just gets, and you see Igor just get flown to his death.
Oh, thank God. I mean, he needed to die. Good character, but yeah, you need to die. Eeyore. What are you, betraying humanity like that?
So the bride...
money?
Yeah, right. The bride
What
is...
are you, a corporation?
Snaps.
It snaps, yeah.
The bride is still fighting Anna.
Right.
She's fighting Anna. And then you see Frankenstein is dangling out the bridge, holding onto the wire. And he's looking up, and Carl looks down, and he goes, please, help me. And then Carl goes, but you're supposed to die. And he goes, I want to live. And Carl goes, all right. And it's like, I'm going to help you. Hang on. And then he pushes like this thing that's like lodging his rope to swing him free. And then when it swings him free, he keeps swinging. And then you see the vampire about to bite Anna again. And then fucking Frankenstein through the glass, fucking right into her. Bam! Knocks her into the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take that, bitch.
Take that, bitch. Not rehearsed.
Yeah.
Get some.
Yeah.
So Dracula comes up
Right.
on Van Helsing, right?
Yeah.
He goes, my children live. And Van Helsing looks at him. He goes, yeah? His shirt's all ripped up. He goes, well, the only way to kill them is to kill you. And he looks up at the moon, and it comes a full moon. So be it. And he drops down, and then midnight strikes. And bro, he turns into the most badass, gigantic black werewolf.
Yeah.
And then Dracula laughs, and then he sees that like he's excited at first, and then he like tries he's like, Gabriel, my boy. And then he's like, "Rah!" And then Dracula sees it like, oh, he's not having it.
Fuck.
And then he turns into his shit, and then it's the most dope fight scene you've ever seen, bro.
Nice.
It's everything you want. Just fucking werewolf.
The build-up was worth it.
Dracula.
Build-up was worth it.
Fucking full-on battle. It's like full battle. They give you the full battle.
They give you everything.
Everything. Mm-hmm. So it comes back to the bridge, right? And the bride is going to attack Anna, and Frankenstein's grabbing her, and he's like throwing her against the room, and he yells at her. He's like, "Go help Van Helsing!" And then she's like, "Thank you." And then she grabs the rope, and then she swings down, right? And then she sees Carl, and then Carl's like can't get across because the bridge is kind of destroyed from the lightning,
right?
And he's like, "Anna," she's like, "Carl, I need your help." And then she's swinging. And then she's like, Carl! And then he has the vial. He still has the antidote. And he throws it. And then she fucking, one hand, Randy Moss grab.
Dude, some people are clutch, bro.
Keep swinging.
That's clutch.
But as she keeps swinging, the bride gets to her and fucking knocks her off. Knocks her off the rope, right?
Right. All right. And the bride's also clutch. Double clutch right there.
Oh, yeah. So Carl sees that and he's like, no! And he slowly starts making his way across the fucked up bridge, right?
Right.
So it cuts back to Dracula and he turns back human and his mouth is bleeding and he's kind of like he's fucked up for his human side's like fucked up. And he's like talking shit, right? And when he's like talking shit, he's like, come on, Gabriel. You don't want to do this. And then he's like you stop, you don't need to do it. You can be controlled. You can be like, hard, like he's saying all this shit to him, right? And then right then he turns back and the werewolf like is fucking him up, bro. Like Hugh Jackson is fucking him up. Like he's ripping his wings off. You know what I mean? Like he's like, damn, bro, this werewolf is fucking this nigga up. Like smashing him in and shit, like how the Hulk kind of fight stuff, like smashing him.
Good Lord.
And then it cuts back to Anna, and the bride is on top of her. She's like, Anna, my love, your blood shall keep me beautiful. And then she gets up and she goes to bite, and she goes, what do you think of that? And then she's about to bite her, and then Carl throws a steak to Anna, catches it, twists the garlic spray, and she like starts twisting. She's like, I think if you're gonna kill someone, do it. Don't stand there talking about it.
Damn straight.
And the vampire blows up.
Damn straight. Murderers, don't tell them your plan. Just do it.
Cuts back to Dracula. Gabriel, don't you understand? He's like in his human form. He's like all fucked up. We can be friends, partners. And then he turns back, and then right when the werewolf grabs him, he holds on him, he's about to bite him. The fucking the moon gets covered up, and Van Helsing turns back to Hugh Jackman.
Right. Ooh, fuck.
He turns back to Hugh Jackman, and he's like, ah. And then Dracula smiles, and he's like, did I mention, Gabriel, that it was you who murdered me? It must be a curse to be the left hand of God.
He's an angel of death.
He goes,
also, Gabriel, fun fact, is the one who gave Muhammad the Quran. So Gabriel's out here just fucking shit up.
Gabriel's doing all kind of shit, bro. He's got all kind of storylines.
Yeah.
So he goes, all I want, Gabriel, is just a continuation of my kind. And he goes, continuation of my kind. And perhaps the return of my ring. And he holds up his fingers like this, and he's missing one, and it's the ring finger. And he looks at it, he's like, he has his ring on.
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, but if you work with me, Gabriel, I'll give you back your life and your memory. And then Van Helsing looks at him, and he goes, some things are better left forgotten. Like that, and the moon comes, and he turns back into a werewolf, and he jumps, and then Dracula tries to turn back and like fly away, and he grabs him, fucking slams him down, bites his neck all the way off.
Love it. Love that we don't get backstory.
And then he turns, and he yells and burns to ash, right? So right then Anna runs in, and she sees him, and she goes, for God! And she jumps, slow-mo, with the vial thing, the serum, and right when he turns,
Grabs her neck, and then she drops it in another hand, and she stabs him.
right, and then everybody, and then the rest of the movie's dog shit. No, it's not how it ends.
It's not, yeah. And then,
It's not Game of Thrones.
yeah.
So he turns, and like as she's in midair, he jumps at her too.
Right.
And then he fucking tackles her. Right.
Right.
And then right then Carl runs in, and he goes, oh dear God, right? And he pulls out a silver stake, and he's like, God forgive me. And he runs up, and he goes to stab him, and then the werewolf grabs him, and he turns, he's and he looks down, and he was stabbed with the vial. Right? And then they look down at her. She's dead. Oh. Did you see that coming?
No.
I didn't. Yo, first time I saw this movie, I didn't see that coming either, nigga.
No.
I was like, what?
But at least she can get into heaven.
She's dead, bro. And the werewolf, they show the werewolf, and he looks at her, and he's like, the werewolf looks sad. And then he looks up, and he's like, and he picks her up, and he goes, ow! And as he's owling, he turns back into Hugh Jackman, so he goes, ow! And he's looking at her, and he's crying.
Yeah.
Right? And he's fucking shredded.
Yeah.
And he's crying.
Yeah. Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
And he's holding her close, right? And then the camera fades out. And then it cuts to, and they're at the sea. And then they're burning her body by the sea, right?
Right, Viking funeral.
And they're looking at her. Van Helsing's fucked up. And Carl's just holding on to him. And they look out in the sea, and they see Frankenstein on a raft. And he's just kind of drifting off. And they kind of like, and they wave, and he kind of waves. And they keep floating, he floats off, and then they're all watching her body burn. And then he's crying, and he turns, and he looks up in the clouds, and he sees her, like with her family. And he nods, and then Carl grabs him, and he puts his hat on. He rides off into the sunset. Van Helsing. What you think, buddy boy?
I enjoyed that.
You had fun?
Yeah, I like action movies, so I think
I know you love action.
I think I'm gonna enjoy the action scenes in this.
You think you'll enjoy the monsters in this one?
Yes, I think so.
It seems like your kind of monsters because it's not scary or serious. It's way more cool.
Yeah.
Everything's like the Hulk or like
everything.
Marvel
What's
shit.
it called? Yeah, everything. There's like, it's not just like one monster. It's not. It's like a.
And they're not going
monster.
for scary. They're going definitely for like
action.
whoa. They want that sound. They don't want you to be like. They definitely want you to be like whoa.
Fast and the Furious 9, Transmissionsylvannia. That's what I'm calling this now.
Love that name.
That's what this is.
Oh fuck! Come back next week, guys.
Yeah, we'll see
do
ya.
another movie for you.
Yeah, will we?